Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to be making one on the rental trailer business. So I have just finished building my rental trailer, and so I want to show you my setup. What does my setup look like for my rental business? So let's get right into it. So right here I got my trailer, and there has been a ton of changes since the last video that have been done to this trailer to make it ready to rent. As many of you know, I went all the way down to Texas to pick up this trailer because it was the ideal trailer I wanted for renting. And so it was mainly because it had a steel deck, and it's really hard to find steel decks up where I'm from. You can get them custom built, or you can really search for them, but they're not that common. So I went to Texas because that's where Happy Trailer is, and they have tons of these on the lot. So it makes it super easy for finding and purchasing one of these. So yeah, but after purchasing one of these, it still wasn't quite ready to rent. So that's exactly what I did. I bought a whole bunch of stuff that has now been installed on the trailer to make it ready to rent. Let's start with what you see first. You see the winch. So this is a 12,000 pound super winch with a synthetic rope, and it has a barrel light in there that lights up at night. I'll be displaying all the lighting on this trailer when it's dark, so we'll get back to that in a little bit later of the video. But yeah, this thing right here was competing with the Warn 12,000 pound winch. They have multiple different options, but the competitor of Warn that competes with this, in YouTube videos that I was watching and reading up online, there's literally nothing different with these except for basically the color, if you ask me, and the fact that this one has a barrel light, which is super useful at night. So they've got the same specs, they got the same warranties. It has lifetime mechanical, 7-year electrical, just like Warn. If anything, all the data and specs on this were just about the same as the Warn. If not, in some YouTube videos, it was actually performing better than the Warn when it came to pull strength and speed and stuff like that. So this is a really nice winch. Many of you guys probably know this brand, and I honestly got it because it was blue and gray, and I like that color a lot better than red and black. So it goes with my whole theme I got going with my truck and my trailer and everything. So that was definitely a selling point. It was blue, and it did just as good. But yeah, winch has been great, used it many times. So what I got here is I got a big old plug, and it's inside this hitch receiver I welded to the front of my trailer. So that's another thing. I had to weld a whole hitch receiver to the front, and I got a locking pin. So whenever I don't want to use this winch, I use my key, unlock it, unplug it, winch is off, and it can go into my truck hitch or anything else. So it's nice having that nice and removable, so that say a renter doesn't want it, I don't need to have that on the trailer as a liability. I can take it off and they can use it without. So that's something that took a bit of time. And as you can see here, what the heck do we have going on here in the front of the trailer? Well, we got a toolbox, and then underneath the toolbox we got the spare tire. So this is something I've seen on these rental trailers, is spare tires have always been an issue, right? So mine was mounted right where I wanted that hitch receiver to be, right up in the middle, so that I didn't have any room for a toolbox. So I was like, well, I gotta change that. So I cut it out, and I've mounted my spare tire right down here. So I also had seen where people mount them off to the side here, but then renters will always jackknife and bend the brackets. So that is why I went with down here. So what I had done here is I got 1/8 inch thick diamond plate, just like how this is 1/8 inch diamond plate from PJ, and I welded it into my tongue area. So now, as you can see, I got just a nice little flat surface that the spare can sit on. And then I welded in some square tubing there and here, with then some C-channel across to each side that the toolbox then is bolted to the C-channel. And then on top of the C-channel, that's just the diamond plate from the toolbox. But here in the front, I went as far as welding a little piece of diamond plate there, as well as a little thing to rest some tools on, or just as a step, and it's been super useful. So I had to custom fabricate this whole little front thing. Maybe that will give you guys some ideas on what you want to do, but it's perfect. The jack handle is right above here, and the toolbox is far enough away you get a full swing. Nothing's affecting the jack, so that's amazing. So yeah, that was something that I fabricated that I think is going to come in handy with renters. Is it's not going to get bent or damaged or anything with the spare tire. It's nice and protected, and it's in a good, nice location. As well, with now moving up to the toolbox here, I went with a triangle toolbox because, or like one that matches the tongue design, because as you can see, my toolbox sits within this metal piece, which then also sits within this square down here. So there should be there's nothing sticking out for a renter to jackknife. They would really have to be turning sharp to jackknife this, which, I mean, it's not impossible, but my toolbox hopefully should never get damaged, because they'll hit this first and then they'll hit this even first. So that should do damage to their vehicle and not to the toolbox. So we'll see how that holds up as well. But that's where I went in with my thought process of all that. And so yeah, with this winch being on here, where do I have my battery stored? I have my battery stored right up here inside my toolbox. So I got a nice battery box that has been bolted down to the toolbox, and the battery just sits right within there. And then I got my winch cover along with all my straps down in here. I got my jack back in there with my remotes. It's not really organized or clean in here, but I need to go through and do all that. Got my registration for the trailer along with some extra pins and clips and stuff. But yeah, super nice compartment. If you can see right here, I got a little custom switch panel thing going on inside of it. And yeah, this is something right in here. You'll see, got my battery. It's just the biggest marine deep cell battery you can get from the store from Roll King. So super nice. This I just did tonight. So as a renter, you probably are curious to what your battery voltage is at, right? So I installed this gauge. So they don't need to test it with a ohm or a DVOM or a battery tester. All they have to do is press this little button. It kicks on the light, and then it will show you what it's at. So this is, it's really hard to see with the camera, but really easy to see in person. It says 13.8. So it's at 13.8 because this battery is currently getting charged actually by this very bright sunlight we got coming in today, because right here I have, where was it? I have this battery tender hooked up to it, and plugged into the battery tender harness is this solar panel. So I just installed this not too long ago. It's just 4 bolts into the top of the toolbox. You can see the bolts right here. Super nice, clean install. And it just sits on top of here. And it has a charging regulator right inside here. So when it hits its full charge, it blinks green instead of blinking red. Or it'll just be green, and it will stop charging it and leave it fully charged for the next renter to use. So I was just using the winch to reel it out and reel it back in to make it look nice and pretty for the next renter. And yeah, that's why it's blinking red right now. It's just a little bit low, so it's just getting it charged up right now with all that sunlight we got coming in. But yeah, super sweet setup I got going on here. One more thing I've done to the trailer is, as you saw those custom switches that were in there, well, here's the exterior. You flip that one on, and what I've done here, you can't see right now, but I'll show you at night, is I've got 3 smoked out marker lights mounted in each drive over fender. So I got a total of 6. And at night, these things light up the trailer and give a nice glow on it to show all the D-rings and everything. So that's a nice little subtle touch that mine has that not a lot of other people's have. And along with the barrel light lighting up in there, it just becomes the perfect trailer for those guys after work when it gets dark and they're trying to get their projects and things hauled around to be able to see what the heck they're doing. So that is definitely a nice little touch to the trailer that I think a lot of renters will appreciate. Some of you guys renting will probably appreciate some of the things I've done here to my trailer, maybe take inspiration from them, or you guys wanting to get into it. These are some ideas you can think about when doing your rental trailer. So yeah, it's all been working out super great for me, and I hope it works out great for you guys as well. I got myself a chair because I'm honestly really tired and sitting down would be nice. So yep, forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, so for my trailer, I've just been using it and renting it out to friends and family while I was doing all this work to get it to where it needs to be. So, well, it was all kind of like not fully complete. It was nice to be able to do that. But I just recently finished it all. I didn't really work on it at all this summer because if you look at the YouTube channel, I was busting my butt on my boat and getting that thing out because I've owned it for 3 years and I've never taken it out. There's a car driving by. I've never taken it out on the water, and I was like, if I don't get it done this summer to get it out on the water, I was like, I'm never gonna get it done. So I really worked hard at doing that. And so once I had finished that, I started working on this trailer, and I did everything that I had just shown you. And where I'm at now is I just posted my listing up on Facebook Marketplace about a week and a half ago. So it hasn't been that long, and I just want to give you a little update on how things are going. So with this rental and it being only listed on Facebook Marketplace, so far I have one guy and he's going to rent it this weekend. So I'll make another video on how my first rental goes. But yeah, what I'm running is I'm doing my daily rate for 120, and then I have a hitch rental for $10, and then my weekly rate is $600, and that's 7 days. So that's a full week, not just 5 days. That's a week rental for $600 is 7 days. And then yeah, I don't have hourly posted right now, but my hourly rate would be $20 an hour, a minimum of 2 hours, so that $40 rental. But I don't really advertise that unless they ask about it, because I don't really want to deal with that. But yeah, I'm super excited to see where this rental goes on this well, basically in the next, it's gonna be Saturday, so in 2 days. But just wanted to run through the rates of what I'm working with. And with my rate, I know it's a little on the high side. I would say a lot of people in my area right now, since the season's slowing down, they're doing like $100. I've seen some even do $80 for one day, but they have more of a utility wood deck, non-drive or fenders, so I don't want to price myself too low. And I feel like if it's at 120, it scares away a lot of the people that might not take as good a care of it, and the people that really would care to give the extra money will take better care of it. So I'm kind of just testing the waters out at 120, and I have somebody coming to rent it this weekend, and we'll see how everything goes. If everything goes smoothly with him and I'm not getting rentals after that, I might lower it down to 100 and see what happens. But I use this for a lot of personal use too, so I don't mind not having it rented out. But if it rents out a lot, I mean, I'll just get another one, right? So yeah, that's where my rates are at, and that's where I'm looking at with the fall. And yeah, I can't wait to make a video on how the rental goes, my first ever rental. But so far with friends and family, it's gone great. Trailer's a beast. Haven't had any issues. I'm running stock tires, which I know a lot of people hate that, but I'm in Midwest area, so I don't have like insanely hot summers or anything like that, so they've done just fine. But yeah. Also, something I want to mention is, so when my renters, or this first renter I'm having, what I require from my renters. So I require them to purchase my insurance, my liability insurance for their rental, so that they have liability on the trailer, and that way if anything happens, they're covered, they're good, the trailer's covered, everything's good. And another thing I will allow is if they for sure have insurance that their vehicle has on it that covers what they tow, if they show me proof of that insurance and everything checks out, they are more than welcome to just do that and not purchase my insurance. It's as long as they feel comfortable with their vehicle insurance and that it is able to cover what they tow, then I'll let that work as well and let that slide. But a lot of vehicle insurances only cover a small amount, so make sure your renters are checking that. But that is another option that I do allow. And I also have 2 contracts I have them sign. One is the liability contract. That's kind of like my waiver. It has basically everything written you could possibly have on it, to where it makes sure that I am safe and covered and I can't get screwed over. And I have them sign that, along with I have a contract that shows all the items that are being supplied and the inventory check of checking everything before they leave, and the condition of the trailer and any noticeable dents or dings or scratches that the renter is worried about. And we make note of that, and then when the trailer comes back, we check all the items and we check for any new damages that are on the trailer that were not listed before it went out. And I also like to do a little walk around video too before they take it out. So that is another thing that I do. And another thing I was getting a whole bunch of comments on, like I'm talking a whole bunch, was insurance. What insurance am I using and all that? So, as you heard, I was talking a little earlier about how I require them to buy my insurance. Well, let's start off with that. So, for renting purposes, I have MBA insurance for this trailer. So, it's mbainsurance.com or something. I don't know. You can search it up. You can read through all their stuff. They got tons of information on tons of different kinds of insurances for basically every kind of rental business that you could possibly have, whether that's RVs, dump trailers, utility trailers, car haulers, like they got it all. So just go over there, read through all their options and everything, and what you do is you open up an account with them, and that account will give you a policy number, and you enter the last 6 digits of the VIN of the trailer you're using, and you'll provide those 2 numbers to your renter, and that renter will enter those, and they can buy daily rates of insurance or weekly rates of insurance for their trailer. They can put in, there will be a calendar, they can pick the dates and the times that they're using the trailer, and they can buy liability insurance for the trailer. So that's exactly what I use, and that's what everybody basically else uses when it comes to rental insurance, and that will basically cover you pretty well. And so for me, that's $48 a month for this trailer for my rental business. And so that's what I pay. And so that basically just covers this trailer under the business for any damages or liability that will happen to it. But then you also then have your renters cover the trailer as well while they're using it with that purchase of liability insurance. So you're double. Okay, so the 48 pays for basically insuring this trailer for the business, and then whatever they pay when they rent it for that daily rate or weekly rate or whatever insures the trailer while they use it. So it not only has then the business insurance being covered for the trailer, but then it's also covered when it's not in your possession. But I also have State Farm insurance on, well, State Farm insures it, not State Farm insurance. But I have this insured by State Farm as well. It's like $90 every 6 months. and that basically covers $12,000 in damage for the trailer. I just have it insured for $12,000 because that's what I have into it with all the mods and everything I've put on it and accessories to make it rentable. And that basically covers it for anything that possibly happens to it. If a storm blew through and a tree fell on it, I don't think it would damage it, but if something bad was to happen to it, if it gets stolen or anything like that, my State Farm insurance will cover that and make sure everything is sorted out and okay with anything, basically. So if somebody was to come steal this off my lot, boom, like, they'll cover it. Like, they got me. And if any storm came through or anything happened, it would be covered with that. And so that covers it basically while I use it. So if it's being towed behind my truck and somebody T-bones it, it's covered. So that insurance is just for my sole personal use, and it also helps kind of cover it for where it sits while it's not hooked to my truck if somebody steals it or if something bad happens to it. But that will not cover anything bad on the trailer while it's in somebody else's possession, like your renters. That's why I have the other insurance, which I need to look into it more. I'm not the smartest on insurances. There's so much to know. Your best bet is just to call the MBA company and really just talk to somebody there. But with now getting my $48 a month for the MBA insurance, I think that might cover everything that my State Farm insurance covers for personal use of my own as well. So if I was to be using the trailer and somebody T-bones me, or if the trailer was to get stolen or something when it's at the lot of the business, or weather rolls through and it blows it away or something crazy like that, I think the MBA insurance should maybe cover that, since I'm paying $48 a month to insure this trailer. And I rated the insurance for $12,000 as well. That's why my rate might be higher than some, because I want to cover what it's truly valued to me. Like, I don't want to insure it for $8,000, which is what I bought it for, but then have all these extra additives on it that make it more expensive and not get those covered as well for being damaged if something happens. So I honestly think I might not need the State Farm insurance anymore, and I can just use the MBA insurance. But I'm gonna go talk to some MBA. Almost sounds like I'm saying MBA, but I'm saying MBA. NBA. It sounds the same. I'm saying M, like Eminem. But yeah, I need to talk to them, get on the phone, and see if that's the case. Because if so, I'm getting rid of that $90 every 6 months. But definitely reassuring to have that extra insurance, since I do use it so much for personal, and it kind of covers my butt if anything happens to it while it's just sitting somewhere, because I know for sure they won't do anything stupid, versus I'm not too certain on all the policies with this MBA insurance. So yep, since I use State Farm, but I also forgot to mention I use it through my local State Farm insurance building in my small town. So like, you go into there and you get to talk to the people and you're really close with them, so they're really able to help make sure you're getting what you want, what you need for your insurance. And then if something bad happens, you walk into the office and you get to like talk to the person that helped you set up. So it's less of like you're on the phone with somebody that's just like, yeah, we can't cover that, and they deny you. So that's another thing with insurances. If you guys are looking at that, if you maybe your small town insurance building, whether that's State Farm or Geico or whatever, they might have some insurance for your rental business that you might want to take up on. But I'm going through MBA for the rental business, and that's online. And I'll keep you updated with any problems I have with them in the future or anything, because this is all new to me as well. But I have 2 types of insurance on it right now: the State Farm for personal, and I'm using MBA for business. But I might not need the State Farm anymore, but it is definitely comforting having it. So sorry about that rant, but there was just so many comments on it. I hope I made some things clear on kind of what I'm doing. I definitely have a lot more insurance on this trailer than I probably need, but heck, I mean, what are you gonna do about it, right? Safe than sorry, right? And another thing about renting trailers, like, yeah, it would be nice to have it insured and everything to be good and covered, but it's just a risk you're gonna take. Every time your trailer leaves, you're gonna have to be like saying in your head, I'm prepared for this thing to get totaled. This might not come back in one piece. This might be a total loss. It's just something you gotta accept, and you're taking that risk and starting your business and going on this venture of letting other people use your very expensive things, and that's just part of it. You're gonna maybe have 3 good rentals and then one just goes to absolute crap. That's something you are taking the risk on, and you have to have in your head of understanding that that's just how business works, and it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine. It's going to be some rainstorms and some cloudy days, but that's just business for you, and something I've definitely been willing to accept. And so although I have all this insurance on this trailer, that's never even a set in stone either of you're going to be covered. So just be willing to take the hit, and if so, just work with what you get from it and try again and again and again, and eventually it will work out. So don't let the nerve of somebody else using your stuff scare you away from actually ever getting it rented out. Please just take the risk and rent your trailer out. You won't regret it, even if it sucks at first or something goes wrong. Just keep going, because people do it and it works, so it's gonna work for you. That's all I have to say on that. If you're nervous about people destroying it or stealing it or stuff like that, it could happen. I'm not saying it's not gonna, but just take the risk. It's gonna be worth the reward in the end, and everything's gonna work out. So that's my input on that, with the kind of the risk part of the business, and just go for it. Do it. That's what I'm doing. So I got my first rental this weekend for somebody that I don't know at all. I've rented it out to people I've known, and let's see how this first one of a complete stranger just coming to pick up my trailer goes. So yeah, I just went and put my chair back and locked up the shed, but the sun is starting to set down. I got the trailer over there. I have all those cool lights on it, so once it gets dark, I'm gonna show you all the cool lighting I did to it, because I think a lot of you are gonna dig that and wanna do it to your rental trailers as well. It's a nice little touch to set you apart from the competitors when it comes to renting the trailer. They'll be like, man, that one's got some cool lights on it though. So yeah, let's wait for it to get dark and I'll show you those things. I'm sorry, but doesn't this thing just look so cool? The black rims, black deck, the nice winch and toolbox. Super sweet. So I waited for it to get nice and dark out so you guys can see these deck lights. So as you can see here, just go ahead and flip this switch and it turns on the deck lights. So at night, they're bright enough to where you can see everything on the deck, but not bright enough to where they're gonna blind you and make it super hard to see. So I love them a lot. And then as you can see, if you come from this away, you can see the winch, the barrel light, and the winch is all lit up, all nice and pretty. Got a neighbor driving by, but look at that. Sweet. But yeah, doesn't that look so cool? There's your view loading up. That's awesome. So you got the winch light and you got, dang, you got the side lights. That is so sweet. Heck yeah. Definitely worth doing. Definitely got a haircut since the last clip, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's packed full of a lot of information. I hope you guys took away some stuff from that, and I hope you guys like what I did to my trailer. If you have any advice on some insurance stuff or advice on what I should do to my trailer that I haven't done yet, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. As well as if you have any questions on anything I said, leave that in the comments. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on this journey. I'm looking forward to it and seeing how it goes. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Peace out. Bye.